Donald Trump's an unusual political figure, so it's not surprising, perhaps, that he's going to enter office as president at the end of this week in an unusual position. Bluntly speaking, he will be perhaps the least popular new president the country's had in a generation, but he's bringing in an agenda that seems to have a lot of popular appeal, of powerful popular appeal, in fact. This all comes through from a new Wall Street Journal NBC News poll, and let me give you some numbers that illustrate this dichotomy. When people ask whether they have a negative or a positive view of Donald Trump, by a 48% to 38% margin, people have a more negative than positive feeling about Donald Trump. This is a little better than those numbers were during the campaign, but not a lot, and certainly not as good as is normal for a new president who usually gets a bit of a honeymoon on this front. And when people are asked whether they have a positive or negative view, whether they think they're pleased or approve of the job he's done handling his presidential transition, 52% say they disapprove of the way he's handled a transition, only 44% say they approve of it. So he hasn't done himself a whole lot of good on that front. But at the same time, there are planks of the Trump agenda that are very powerful in terms of the appeal they have around the country. The things he stresses the most are things people want to see stressed in Washington right now. Saving jobs from going overseas, stopping the influence of lobbyists in Washington, building new infrastructure around the country, and even imposing tariffs if necessary to stop unfair trade practices, something a lot of Republicans don't like. It's a very popular idea around the country. So in a nutshell, Donald Trump moves down to Washington this week in kind of the same position he was as a candidate, a flawed messenger, but one with a very powerful message.